What's up, guys? Wes back with Auto Mafia Racing and a little Barra update for you. They're all on the engine stands. We got one, two, wait a minute, that's not a Barra. That's a 2JZ. But there's our other Barra and our Coyote. But basically, Tommy was getting started tearing one of our Barras apart, and we were comparing it to the 2JZ and the Coyote, so you can see the size differences. So this is gonna be all about the size differences between the motors right now. So here we go. This is a NAFG Barra motor. That's from an 08 to 2016 Falcon. There we are, or an SUV, whatever. But we went ahead and we started pulling the intake and some other stuff off because we had some broken pieces. So that's the NA intake. And this one is one of the turbo intakes. Now we're not going to be using this to drag race or make any crazy power. We're just going to try and make some base numbers, 400 or 500 horsepower out of one, for right now with that little intake. And with the little T3 exhaust. But there you go. So this is a 2JZ. We obviously have mounted up to it a turbo kit with a little T3 turbo. Is there a T4? T4 turbo. What trim is that?
68, I think.
68? Yeah, you guys can see the big differences between the motors. I mean, look at the width. Look at the width. Not too terrible when we go up top and up top. Height-wise, they're kind of tilted differently because we have them on different engine stands. But height-wise, they're actually pretty close to the same. They're a lot closer to the same than I thought they were. But when you look at them together like this, the Barra really looks like kind of the big brother of the 2JZ, which I know that's going to piss off all the 2JZ guys. Does that piss you off, Tommy?
A little bit.
A little bit. Tommy's a 2JZ guy. This is Tommy's 2JZ. But it is true. When you look at it, it really does kind of look like the bigger brother, or maybe the younger, buffer brother.
Well, front sump. Look at the difference in the pans.
Yeah, front sump and rear sump for sure. Well, that's part of why we go with the NAFG, because it is the rear sump, which makes it easier to throw in different cars. Yeah. But it'll look good once we get the turbo manifold on it. But yeah, but size comparison to a Coyote. Coyotes are big motors, but the Barra is a big motor. It's really not that crazy. So pretty much, I think it might be easier to stuff a Barra into a car rather than a Coyote. But even going from the side view, the real difference is out the front. So I'd say we're still a good 2 to 4 inches longer in the Barra, and that's counting even all the way out to the alternator that sticks that way out front on the Coyote with the Power by the Hour accessory drive kit. So these motors are just big. Frankly, they're just big. They're big motors. But we are going through and finding, certain things wrong with a couple of them, so we're gonna have to get different parts made. Luckily, most of the stuff that's wrong with them, we're not really gonna use. Like the front cover, this bit here is broken. We're probably not gonna have to worry about that. We're not gonna use it. We're gonna get some block-off plates for the water pumps so that we can just use electric water pumps. I wanna say this mount was either air conditioning or power and steering. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at some pictures, and I'm not sure where the alternator sat either. That might have been the top left, but we'll have to get our alternator, our power, the alternator, the power steering pumps, all that figured out where that went so that we can kind of change it and move things where we need, but know where they were to start with. So fingers crossed on that one. But this one is definitely the rough one. This one had a hard life. It definitely got hit hard. The other ones look pretty good. Nothing's really broken on them. That all is still good. Nothing else is hit too bad. Even this one is pretty good as well. We will tell you, we did have a scare when we were trying to put these on the engine stand. The first one, it broke the strap we were lifting it with. And I think Tommy and I both pooped a little bit. Yeah, because one, it's like 500 pounds, and it's Florida, so in shops in Florida, you wear flip-flops. because it's hot. And yeah, we might have lost a toe, but didn't hit anybody. Just fell right back onto the kind of the wooden crate piece that we had. So lucky, thank goodness, lucky that happened. But yeah, guys, so we are getting really super excited. I mean, you can see the Barra with Typhoon in the background. We're teasing Typhoon right now. Like, look how close it is. But that's gonna be what's up right there. Typhoon in the Barra. We're already sorting out different stuff for the engine build. I'm working with a couple different companies that once we get things official, I'll let everybody know. We have 100% decided that we're going to be running a Power Glide transmission in Typhoon, hooked to the Barra, so that's good. Turbo companies, we have not quite decided yet as with that. However, we are leaning a couple different ways. We might actually try to use the comp oilless turbo that's off of Hurricane. So Hurricane might donate a turbo for a little while. We shall see about that, but it's getting there, guys. I'm pretty excited. Just wait here in a little bit. We'll probably try and mock one up in there. But for now, we're gonna have to get them all 100% pulled apart so that we can get it ready to run, because we don't know what these motors have been through. As Tommy was saying, they kind of smell like they've been through a lot.
They smell like burnt clutch.
So they smell like burnt clutch, and even they have been halfway, really all the way around the world. Australia to Florida is pretty much all the way around the world. So there's some issues with them, but we'll get through it. That's why we got 3 of them. So in the combined 3, we should at least get 2 running. That's the goal. But we'll check back in with you guys later. So let's do a little comparison. We have our 2011 to 2014 Coyote here. We do have a Boss manifold on it. This is technically a truck motor, but let's forget that, okay? And let's just talk about the fact that if it were a Mustang motor. So your Mustang Coyote motor essentially makes about 380 horsepower to 450 horsepower naturally aspirated. That's pretty much as far as it gets. When we go ahead and boost it, yeah, you can make 1,000 horsepower without touching the motor, but generally speaking, what is counted as safe to us and in our minds is pretty much about the level of, I say on a Gen 1, 700 to 750. Anything over that, it starts getting a little bit sketchy. Not that it won't make the power. Somebody's cruising by. It'll make the power, but it won't necessarily live very long. So yeah, that's about it. Weight for the Coyote, I'm gonna have to look it up. So according to FordPerformanceParts.com, the Coyote weighs 445 pounds. So the Coyote, which is a V8, 5 liters of displacement, aluminum block, that's a lot of it. They have an aluminum block and aluminum heads, which makes them way lighter than most things out there. That motor, like we said, 450 horsepower, you know, and you're going to be into the low 400s in torque, naturally aspirated, and then 700 plus easily. Now it's compared to the Barra, 4 liters of displacement versus 5 liters of displacement. The Barra naturally aspirated, they make like what, 200 to 300 horsepower. Boosted, you still have to mod them, but with valve springs and an oil pump gear, essentially, you can boost them to the 600 mark pretty safely, it seems like. The Australians do it kind of all the time. So we're going to call, you know, that. Now weight, this motor is about 500 pounds. So I'm pretty greasy. But yeah, the motor is about 500 pounds. It is a heavier motor, but it has an iron block. It's a cast iron block on it. It is a very strong block though. So the bottom end on this motor, really, you have to redo if you want to get anything over basically 600 horsepower. So you get another 100 horsepower-ish over the Coyote. But now let's talk about the Coyote. If you want a Mustang Coyote, you're really going to spend what? Low end, high miles, $2,500 to basically about $5,000 to $7,000, depending on Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 motor. You can pick up an NAFG for $2,200 plus shipping. Let's call it $2,500 shipped. We sell them imported for $2,500 picked up currently. Yes, we have 3, but we can get more. So if you need one, let us know. $2,500 picked up here in Florida. But as I was saying, this is a cheaper motor with rods and pistons capable of just as much, if not more, than your standard Coyotes, which start to break. So the Australians have pushed this motor to like 2,500 horsepower. I don't know that there's a stock Coyote that's been that high. I don't think there is. I know they've had them in well into the upper teens, but I don't think they've broken 2,000. I know that MMR has their own kind of crazy kind of big block Coyotes and all that, and they've gone dumb high. And I could be wrong. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm sure there's a lot of high horsepower Coyotes out there I don't know about, but still pretty good. Now, let's talk about the 2JZ. Essentially, the same power capabilities as the Barra, but 3 liter. Still has the iron block. Very solid motor. Easily buildable. You can turbo them. They only make like 170 horsepower. That's what Tommy's IS300 makes. So 170-ish horsepower, naturally aspirated compared to like the 200, I guess, and something. And way more torque out of the Barra. So you have the high revving, but not quite as high as you can rev the Barra. But the 2J is expensive. So we were looking at it. You really can't find a good 2J, not a GTE at least, a 2JZ GTE, which is the turbo model. You can't find that for less than like 2,500 to like 3,500 bucks sometimes. I mean, that's stock. Whereas technically, the block's the same, but you're still gonna pay, I think we picked this one up for 650 bucks for an NA block. So a 2JZ GE, like 500 or 600 bucks, we picked that up. But still, you still have to build it and do everything to it in order to hold the 600 horsepower that these are gonna hold with just basically valve springs and oil pump gears. So 3 liters, 4 liters, 5 liters. So there we have a 3 liter, a 4 liter, and a 5 liter. It's very interesting to me. It just is very interesting to me. I'm enjoying looking at these motors, and we're gonna enjoy building them for sure. We were just talking with Dominic from Dominator Motorsports today, as well as a couple other people about our build. So we're gonna do 3 things, okay? We're gonna do a 600 horsepower build, we're gonna do a 1,000 horsepower build, and then we're gonna do a 1,500 question mark plus horsepower build. We might put each one into Typhoon as we go, and slowly kind of increase from there. I'm not 100% sure, but they're all 3 gonna get used, I will tell you that. I'm not quite sure what in necessarily, but they're all gonna go in something. And Typhoon is looking mean and ready. So I don't know about you guys, but hopefully we can get a company to take care of our motors for us and build them, because I don't have the time, frankly, to do it. We barely have the time to accomplish the tasks and the cars that we have here in the shop and run the website and sell the parts and do all the online tuning and everything. So fingers crossed somebody will jump on board, and we're willing to pay for it. Don't even get in your mind that you guys think that we're trying to get it for free. We're not. I'm willing to pay for it. But so far I've asked a couple companies, and no one's even been interested in working on it because they haven't done a lot with them yet. So pretty interesting, but trying to find one that is local so we don't have to ship the motors. We can just drive them there real quick. Oh, those bugs are hitting our door. You guys hear that? Sounds like rain, but it's not rain. This might be weird. Oh, there's lots of bugs. Oh, okay. So lots of bugs flying everywhere. Oh, they're like swarming. Well, I'm covered in bugs now. That was odd. But yeah, anyways, guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this series. Look forward to more from Typhoon and our Barra builds. Like I said, there's going to be 3. Comment below what you think we should put the other 2 motors in. I got bugs on my beard. So 1,500 is definitely going to end up in Typhoon, be the ultimate drag car. But what should we do with the 600 horsepower motor? And what should we do with the 1,000 horsepower motor? I've got some ideas. We do have a Cadillac out there that is definitely going to need a motor. So I don't know what you guys think about that. Maybe an F100. Let me know in the comments below. We'll talk to you guys later.